The movie begins at a graduation ceremony where we meet the protagonist, engineer David Daftander. After his university graduation ceremony, David is seen with his girlfriend, Nadja, at a cafe discussing their future plans. Something seems to be bothering David as he sweats nervously. As a result, he rushes to the restroom and calls the radio station that is currently being played at the cafe. David then publicly and awkwardly proposes to Nadja over the radio, which she happily accepts. The scene then moves forward to a year and a half later in the future. David and Nadja live together in an apartment in Stockholm. However, they are constantly stressed due to work and school. Very often, this stress would bleed into a fight between them. It seems like their marriage is falling apart as the couple somehow ends up arguing about almost anything. On top of that, their stress is compounded when Nadja learns that she is pregnant. She is quite unhappy as she is studying to be a doctor, and she is not sure if she and David should be parents. As a result, she decides to keep it a secret from David. However, she opens up to an older neighbor, Thomas, who manages to comfort her. Thomas assures her that she and David will be great parents. Before leaving, he insists that parenthood is life's greatest gift and implies that he has lost a child of his own. The next morning, David surprises Nadja with breakfast on the bed. Nadja also finds a note nearby that states her to meet David in the bathroom. In the bathroom, Nadja finds that he has repaired the washing machine, which was the whole point of the argument the day before. Nadja then follows a series of notes and at last meets David down the apartment. Finally, David reveals that he has planned a camping trip to see the Northern Lights, and the two eventually reconcile. In the next scene, we see the couple take the trip with their dog, Boris. However, on the way, David stops the car a few times to allow Nadja to vomit, but still, she hasn't revealed her pregnancy to him. Later, while stopping for gas, David encounters two locals, brothers Jarmo and Roel. At first, the brothers seem nice, but soon they start misbehaving. Eventually, David discovers the truck bed full of dead game animals, and he is made uncomfortable by their rough mannerisms. As he has difficulties taking his car out of the park, he accidentally bumps into the brothers' truck, leaving scratches. However, David chooses to drive off instead of saying anything, which annoys Nadja. After a full day of driving, the couple finally arrives at their destination at an inn. When they go inside, the woman at the front desk, Mona, treats them strangely and silently refuses to serve them. As the couple is left to wonder what just happened, Mona's brother Einar approaches them and implies that she's not used to seeing an interracial couple. He learns of their itinerary and offers to host them at his cabin in the wilderness. Shortly after, David notices Jarmo and Roel sitting there at the same establishment and becomes nervous, thinking that they are being followed. The next day, as the couple prepares to leave for their trip, they discover that someone has keyed their car and vandalized their bumper sticker with a racial epithet. The couple quickly realizes that this must be done by Jarmo and Roel, as Nadja blames David for not apologizing to them at the gas station. Shortly after, on the drive, Nadja spots the brothers' pickup truck and immediately urges David to stop the car. Angered by the recent incident, she scratches it with a screwdriver, narrowly avoiding retaliation when the brothers catch her in the act. The couple then continues on their path and soon arrives at the location. After equipping themselves with necessary gears, David and Nadja, along with Boris, head off to watch the Northern Lights. A long day of walk leaves the couple tired, so they decide to camp beneath the Northern Lights. Everything seemed to be going perfectly well for the couple as they were enjoying each other's company. Later that night, as the couple is stargazing, Nadja reveals that she is pregnant. As expected, the revelation makes David nervous and unsure. However, their conversation is shortly interrupted when they spot a red dot on the wall of their tent. They first assume that it is a laser pointer prank by some kid, so they go out to check. After not finding anyone out there, the couple quickly realizes that it is a laser sight from a rifle and guess that the brothers are attacking them in revenge for the car damage. As a result, they decide to move their tent elsewhere, and the couple begins packing their belongings. Moments later, Boris escapes into the wilderness while David keeps calling out to him. They then hear gunshots and the sound of Boris whining. This is followed by gunshots aimed at the couple as they flee into the forest, and here their pursuers chase after them. Scared for their lives, the couple makes a narrow escape and ends up in a small shelter nearby. After a night full of constant paranoia, we see that the couple hasn't slept the whole night because of the hunters. After a brief argument, they mutually decide to go back to their camping site to retrieve their belongings and run away. However, when they reach there, they find the site filled with blood and all the belongings missing. Also, they are terrified to see Boris's decapitated head in the tent. Seeing her beloved dog in such a state, Nadja erupts in anger and vows to take revenge, while David tries to calm her down. After recollecting themselves, David again heads back up to the camp to search for any remaining possessions. Unfortunately, this time he is injured when his arm gets caught in a hunting trap as David screams in agony. Hearing him scream, Nadja quickly goes into the camp and uses all her strength to take the trap off him. However, the damage has already been done, and David's arm starts erupting with blood. Nadja somehow manages to cover his wounds, but they must quickly find a hospital as David is losing too much blood. After finding nothing to help them, the couple finally set off to find help. However, they are soon shot at again, and David starts hallucinating a boy in a winter coat staring at them. The couple then quickly takes cover as David instructs Nadja to make a run, while the hunter reloads his gun. Eventually, David is shot in the shoulder, while Nadja escapes unhurt, and the two start searching for each other as a snowstorm sets in. After a while, Nadja realizes that she has run atop a frozen lake, so she lies down to lower her pressure on the surface. Meanwhile, David arrives at the scene searching for her, unaware of the frozen surface. Amidst the storm, David locates Nadja, but falls right into the frozen lake before reuniting with her. Luckily, Nadja spots him struggling as David is narrowly rescued by her. From there, the couple finally makes it to an emergency cabin that night. Nadja quickly helps David to undress as his condition worsens every minute. Luckily, she finds a telephone and phones the mountain rescuers. However, they are told they will have to wait until the storm passes for help. Nadja then attends to his wounds and stitches up the cut to some extent while they wait for the storm to pass. The next morning, they hear a vehicle approach the cabin and think that the rescuers are here for them. But their optimism doesn't last long when they realize that it is actually an armed but unaware Jarmo who works as a mountain rescuer. The couple cannot believe their bad luck as they quickly escape through a back window, while an unaware Jarmo makes his way inside the cabin. The couple somehow escapes into the woods as David barely manages to walk. Eventually, they seek shelter in what is revealed to be the den of a hibernating bear. However, they cannot leave as Jarmo has arrived outside looking for them. Moments later, Jarmo discovers them, but before he can shoot, Nadja shoots him with a flare she found at the cabin. The gunshot causes the bear to wake up, and the couple quickly gets out of the shelter and runs away from there. After walking for a while, David's condition deteriorates, and he hallucinates the boy again and begins mumbling about guilt. Nadja gives him all the support that she can, and somehow that kept him going. Soon, they spot the barman, Einar's cabin, in the distance. However, David has used up all of his remaining strength and cannot take another step. As a result, Nadja is forced to run ahead to get help for David. On the way, she encounters Roel, who seems confused by her appearance. Before he could say anything, David knocks him unconscious with a rock from behind. He is yet again filled with another guilt, as Roel's still body lies there on the ground. Eventually, the two make it to Einar's cabin, as Nadja urges David to keep his eyes open. Soon they meet Einar, and Nadja requests him to call for help. Einar appears to call for help, but Nadja realizes that he is contacting someone else and becomes suspicious. As a result, they decide to leave, but Einar suddenly becomes aggressive. Eventually, they end up in a locked room, only to discover the stealth photographs taken of the couple. Finally, Thomas arrives with a rifle, which confuses the couple. However, the truth is soon revealed. In a flashback scene, we see that on the day of the couple's engagement, Nadja attempted to perform oral sex on David as they drove home. As a result, a distracted David struck a pedestrian, the boy he had hallucinated earlier. Nadja quickly goes out to check and concludes that the boy is dead. Meanwhile, David is left numb in the car, having no idea what to do next. Upon returning back, instead of calling the police as Nadja wanted. After arriving at their new home, Nadja tries to inform the police as she is racked with guilt. However, David stops her and says he will inform the police himself when he is ready. It is then revealed that the boy was actually Thomas's son and Einar's nephew. On that day, Thomas had been playing with a drone with his son, which had caused him to run into the road. However, the drone also captured the couple's license plate, and a grieving Thomas tracked them down and moved into a nearby apartment to surveil them. After the accident, Thomas vowed to intend on inflicting revenge on the couple for callously driving away. In a surprising turn of events, it is revealed that Thomas had been behind the earlier murder attempts, not Jarmo and Roel. It is also revealed that Thomas was the one who offered the holiday package to David to bring them here. Back to the present, Nadja begs Thomas to let them go and pleads her case by bringing up her pregnancy. Instead, Thomas now decides to become more sadistic and knocks out Nadja. When she wakes up, she learns that Thomas is trying to get David to use a power drill to torture and kill Nadja's child. Eventually, when David doesn't comply, He shoots him in the knee. Thomas then prepares to kill them both, but is interrupted by the arrival of a furious Jarmo, who has tracked down the couple. In the confusion, Thomas shoots and fatally wounds Jarmo, who accidentally does the same to Einar. Seizing the opportunity, Nadja and David escape, while Jarmo and Thomas struggle for a rifle. Next, Nadja and David attempt to flee on a snowbike, but it won't start. Having no options left, they decide to go on foot, but David cannot escape with his injuries, so he tells Nadja to run for the sake of their unborn child. At first, Nadja hesitates as she doesn't want to leave David behind. However, she's left with no choice but to run for her life. Shortly after, she stumbles upon the unconscious Roll and decides to take his rifle to save David. However, when she returns, she finds Thomas aiming at David. She tries to save him by holding a rifle of her own, but hesitates while trying to shoot him. Moments later, she is shot in the head and killed instantly by Mona, Thomas's wife, who they encountered earlier at the inn. With Nadja dead, a traumatized David begs to be killed as well, but Thomas refuses, telling him that he can now understand how he felt after his son had died. In the final scene of the movie, Mona and Thomas depart as David is left sobbing in the snow.